What's a famous guy like you doing in a place like this?
Quite. I'm sure you're thinking, why doesn't he send an assistant? But that's not the way this director works.
But what are you doing?
I'm feeling, I'm experiencing, I'm discovering. This area, the history, the atmosphere, it's the perfect setting for my next film. I'm on a scouting mission to get to know this swamp before I begin work on the latest masterpiece in a string of masterpieces.
You're making a movie about Boggy? About the swamp creature?
Of course. He's a fascinating individual, isn't he? So mysterious.
No idea. I haven't met him yet. Is that your cameraman over there?
Yes, that's right. Bobby Burl, my faithful right-hand man. Well, faithful enough, you know.
No, I don't know.
He's an expert cameraman. Really knows his trade, of course. But he gets a bit muddled when it comes to priorities.
Like how? You mean he's lazy? He doesn't look lazy. He looks a bit scary.
Oh no, nothing of the sort. He just has a little hobby that sometimes distracts him from his work. But I wouldn't want anyone else shooting for me.
Not suspicious. Suspicious! Not suspicious. That's the logo for Boggy's Bog. So, I'm guessing this museum is an official part of the tourist attraction. I hope they don't charge an entrance. I don't think it's a window, but this hatch is shut at the moment. I can't see inside. This side of the museum is surrounded by blue and red flowers. I don't think it's a window. That museum, which makes it look even more out of place in the swamp. Is it being held up on wooden supports? It's bizarre. It's a stepping stone path that goes past the museum and into the woods. So glad I'm wearing my best shoes today. That museum is quite a nice building, which makes it look even more out of place in the swamp. Is it being held up on wooden supports? It's bizarre. The door's jammed unless I can get these brass handles out of the way. Seems like I can rotate them around. just until the gap in the... That top hat guy would have so struggled with this one.
Wait, Grimoire just try to make a snide remark about Professor Layton. Sheesh, Grimoire. Jealous much?
Models of Boggy's claws. Hold on. What's this? Something doesn't seem right here. I think I should try arranging these models into pairs. Something seems out of place. I don't think these gloves are part of the exhibit. It looks like someone tried to hide them here.
According to historical sketches, the skin would have had a number of spots and patterns, similar to that of a toad or frog. 3 prominent sharp claws, supposedly the primary weapon of the boggy swamp monster. Some early sketches even showed a small thumb. Example A, example B. And it says do not touch.
Models of some. There's a little door in the wall here. I think it leads outside. It's locked though. This journal, it's full of drawings and notes all about Boggy. It seems to be the centerpiece of the entire museum.
A journal recorded 60 years ago by the explorer who first visited the swamp, the only record of Boggy existing, contains notes and sketches on the appearance of the swamp creature. Boggy is shown with 3 small claws on each arm. Boggy's feet are always hidden in the water. There seems to be a cage ripped from the back. Mysterious.
Let's see here. This journal belonged to the explorer, who first discovered Boggy in this swamp 60 years ago. Some educational facts about swamps. Did you know swamps are gross? Yes? Yes, I did. Apparently the museum was founded by the explorer many years ago, in a different location. It's only recently been moved here to be part of the tourist attraction. That might explain why it looks so out of place. It's a poster from the old Boggy cartoon show. Boggy playing the piano. He's having a grand old time. This is a really cramped museum. Just one room. Not worth the admission price.
So,
let me guess, you don't work here, do you? I wonder if that makes you the first tourist I've seen today.
you're incorrect, detective. I am no mere tourist.
How did you know I was a detective?
It was the clueless expression on your face.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the one.
Right. That's it. You've done it now. What's your name?
I go by Folder. Agent Folder. What are you doing?
I'm writing bad things about you in my notebook, I'm doing a drawing of your beautiful face, I'm writing in my diary, it's been a long day. Let's be beachy, Grimoire.
I'm writing bad things about you in my notebook. So, if you're not a tourist, and you don't work here...
I am a scholar, an academic. I'm here to research the past and uncover the future.
So, you're visiting the museum. For fun.
Fun! Oh, there's nothing so simple as fun to be had here. I come to this museum night and day to study its secrets.
Ah, what kind of secrets? It's just a museum about Boggy, right? The swamp creature.
He's one of the most intriguing modern examples of cryptozoology. A fascinating combination of scientific fact and wild speculation.
I'm with you on the speculation front. Although, come to think of it, people have been hinting that I should find out about the history of this creature.
A wise suggestion. And you've come to the right person. My knowledge far exceeds anyone else you might have met so far.
So, you'll help me?
I suppose I could divulge some of my findings with you, if you're in the mood for a little light reading. Let me find it for you. Oh yeah, this'll do. Something for beginners at least.
Information about Boggy collected by Agent Folder. Boggy's swamp became a protected area after reports of hunting in the area. Boggy's appearance has changed from the original sketches, in which she has 3 paws on each arm. The modern character has simple fin-like arms instead to make him less threatening. I see. No footprints were recorded in the journal, but some experts believe the information is out there somewhere.
So, Mr. Folder.
Agent Folder.
Yeah, were you here yesterday? What were you doing last night?
I was here, in the museum, going through my files one final time before disappearing into the night.
Don't museums usually close in the evenings?
They do. I've never been one to worry about other people's schedules. I come and go as I please. There's a key to every lock, Detective.
Oh, so you have the key to the museum?
Of course I don't. Why would you think that?
Well,
Once again, that clueless expression. I use a lockpick and get in through the small side door. I have a right to be here, you see. Remington has no business locking me out, so I don't let him.
You just admitted to breaking the law. If everyone did that, my job would be a lot easier.
It's not my best lockpick. This new one's cheap. I used to own one, a superior model. Unfortunately, I misplaced it in one of the darker corners of the swamp, so I doubt...
I'm writing down your confession about sneaking around here at night.
Then what are you gonna do? Report me to Remington? Good luck, my friend.
I need to pick my questions carefully. The lockpick I found inside the gift shop might belong to Agent Folder. I don't get it. The lockpick I found inside the treehouse might belong to Agent Folder. What is that? The lockpick I found near Remington's body might belong to Agent Folder. As far as I know, Agent Folder is experienced with lockpicks. I wonder if he's hiding something.
Something you found on the floor? Come back when I'm not so busy, alright? You're wasting your precious time, Detective. Actually, this is a classic example of a cryptid photograph.
What's a cryptid?
A creature unknown to science. Look at the slight blurring in this photo, the murky exposure. It's perfect.
It's perfect because it can't really be used as evidence?
Now you're catching on. I've never seen that before, and I never want to see it again. I have no interest in something like that. Obviously. An important piece of the puzzle. This journal is a key to unlocking the history of this place. This file goes over some basic differences between the genuine creature and the cartoon character. It's nothing more than a basic overview, really. The real swamp creature had claws, 3 on each hand to be precise. Why does the costume just have these pathetic fins instead? Guesswork. Nobody can know what Boggy's feet look like. It's his greatest secret. If I cared about that person, I would know everything I need to know already. Next time, only show me something if it's important. Let's make that a rule. This person is of no interest to me whatsoever.
Yourself? You're of no interest to
Are
yourself.
you asking about the cartoon character? Because I have no interest in such childish matters.
No, I think I'm asking about the actual creature. What's the difference anyway?
Everything! The man was a fool. That's all you need to know.
I have a bone to pick with you.
Are you setting yourself up for a joke? Something about a lockpick?
Maybe. Who knows? Stop distracting me. I'm trying to interrogate you.
My apologies, go ahead.
So, what are we showing folder now? Where did I find this again? I found a lockpick at the scene of the crime.
Oh, apparently you did. Why does this concern me?
You already admitted to owning one of these, and how you're ever so happy to come and go as you please with it, am I right? Be honest.
Luckily for me, Detective, I was honest with you. I believe I have already explained that second lockpick before you even found it.
You lost your lockpick in the swamp and had to buy a new one.
That's right. I appreciate you finding it for me. However, I won't ask for it back. Apparently it has since become some diabolical instrument in the art of murder.
Yeah, it's an important piece of evidence. Not suspicious. Not suspicious.
Uh-huh.
I can't get it. Maybe if I... That's the logo, so I hope they don't... It's only recently been moved. That might explain why... Some magic, did you know... Some magic, did you know... This is a...
It's okay, but sometimes its control really feels so clunky.
Ah, you've arrived at a bad time, my friend. For once, they don't actually want tourists walking around this place.
I always arrive at a bad time. It's what I do. I'm a detective, not a tourist.
My apologies. It's just, you have the same wide-eyed expression as the kids that come here. Running around, spending their parents' money, you know.
Well, it's not every day I visit a swamp full of such unique specimens.
It's no problem. You're just thinking what we all thought when we arrived for the first time.
Why didn't they put in a bathroom?
No, you're thinking, this place is beautiful. What a lucky man I am to be here.
I am I? Well, if you say so.
Edward Everstone, at your service.
That's a pretty cool name. Can I call you Ed?
You don't need to. Everyone just calls me Echo.
Why? Because you'd bounce if I threw you against a wall?
What? No. Because I always come back, again and again, until my job is done.
You're protesting, right?
I certainly am. And now that you're here, I'm getting you involved.
What does that mean? Yeah, I haven't got time to hold up signs for you. I'm sorry.
You simply have to hear my message and take it with you.
Go ahead. I'm all ears. Plus, I have a little notebook.
What was the first thing you felt when you saw the sign for Boggy's Bog looming over you?
Well, I thought it was...
Not thought. Felt.
I felt... well, something seemed wrong. There wouldn't be a tourist attraction in the middle of a swamp like this. There shouldn't be.
My job is done. Clearly your brain is working perfectly, Detective.
Yeah, let's see. You'd rather this area was kept as a natural habitat, right?
Right again. And that precise word, habitat. First and foremost, I'm protesting for animal rights.
Well, okay, I'm following you, but it's not like they're cutting down trees or anything like that, right?
All animals deserve the right to live in peace, and I promise you, on a normal day, this place is far from peaceful.
Are you talking about the swamp creature? About Boggy?
A creature like that. He's earned the right to be left alone. We're fools to invite ourselves into his home like this on a daily basis, assuming he's not going to mind. Assuming he'll keep to himself and let us walk around with his face on our t-shirts.
Well, I agree. I think he should be left alone. But like you said, he can probably handle himself. And if no one has even seen him in 60 years, I don't really see the problem.
Unlike you, Detective, I never had an academic calling in life. I was never even a talented artist or musician or anything. So instead, I made the decision to stand up for those who were getting a raw deal.
You come here every day.
Yes, I do.
Well, I'm only going to ask you about one of those days. What were you doing yesterday evening?
I was here at my protest spot until fairly late. Then I went to get something to eat at Harper's Cafe before I...
Wait, you ate at the cafe here? Doesn't supporting the tourist attraction like that kind of go against your protest?
A man has to eat, doesn't he? I don't think the meager contributions of one person are going to keep this place afloat. Especially now.
And you're sleeping here? Doesn't it get cold at night?
Well, I came prepared, of course. I usually find myself with 1 or 2 extra layers to wear. Most of this bulk is padding, I promise you.
I'm sure it is. So you stayed here the whole night?
That's right. And I admit I may have heard some stranger than usual sounds floating around the swamp last night.
What kind of sounds?
It's impossible to say. This place fills with the most terrifying sounds at night. Hundreds of animals, some tiny, some much larger, awaken and make their own protests. Every night until the sun rises in the morning.
Insects make noises at night. Okay, I've written it down.
I'm afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else. No thanks, my friend. I'm afraid I have no idea. This is the journal, correct? The one that man left here 60 years ago?
You seem a little unsure of the details. Shouldn't you have read up on all this stuff?
Forgive me. It's hard for me to get the image of Boggy as the lovable cartoon character out of my mind. He's just so iconic. Did you know, in 1973, he...
But you're protesting to protect the real swamp creature. The cartoon character is just some commercial byproduct, right?
Yes, of course. Show it to somebody else. No thanks, my friend. I'm afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else. Ah, yes, Agent Folder. A good man.
You know him?
We get on rather well, and we shared a number of views on the way things were run around here. You're asking the wrong person. You're wasting your time with that one.
Boggy is my prime suspect, you know. The creature you're trying to protect.
Protect is the wrong word. If your suspicions were correct, we could both agree he's a creature that doesn't need protecting.
You think he might be the murderer?
I think he's a wild animal, and he wants to be left alone at any cost. The murder victim.
Since last night, yeah. But he was the owner of Boggy's Bog. Did you know him?
Not personally. To be honest, I'm quite glad about it. A man who has sacrificed luxuries to protect those who need protecting. Pretty good beard, too.
Not suspicious. Not suspicious.
So. Oh?
Ah!
I'm impressed someone managed to pitch a tent here. And I'm impressed someone would want to. It's a colorful, boggy-themed padlock. He's staring into my soul. It should open if I set the right number. Apparently, there's a museum to the left and a cafe to the right. I'm not hungry.
Hey.
Sorry to interrupt. I can see that you're, hard at work.
You weren't here yesterday.
I know. I was in my office yesterday.
You're the detective, right?
I'm a detective.
So, that was your hat I saw blowing through here.
You spotted it too.
If you're good at your job, you may have realized that it's kinda dead around here. So, I generally notice magical floating detective hats. Oh, and don't worry, you look better without it.
How do you know?
Oh, I I have a good imagination.
I didn't expect to see someone your age working in a place like this. But then again, I didn't expect there to be a place like this in a place like this.
I only started working here this year anyway. It's temporary. Just running the gift shop to earn a little extra money. Don't ask how I ended up here.
I'll save that question for a different day. You don't seem at home here exactly.
I hate it. This place is disgusting.
Come on, you don't think it's kind of beautiful?
You would say that. You only just got here. You'll get sick of it.
If I wasn't here, I'd be stuck in my office doing paperwork.
At least at your office, you don't have to bring spare clothes every day. It's impossible to leave this place without being covered in dirt.
Challenge accepted. When you have a moment free from your busy schedule, I need to ask you about last night.
I know, but it won't help. I worked here during the day, then left my gift shop and went home in the evening, same as every day.
You just leave your gift shop here when you go?
No, I put it in my pocket.
Yeah, seriously though, as much as I appreciate sarcasm, I think I'd get in trouble if I wrote something like that down in my notes.
Well, look, you've noticed the gift shop has wheels and you're thinking, oh, she's pretty lazy to leave it lying around. But if you want to try pushing this thing through the swamp, be my guest. And I can't lock it up, so I just leave it here overnight. Nobody's ever stolen any of this lousy merchandise anyway. I even left my spare clothes here when I went home last night.
You left them here? By the gift shop?
Yeah, it's no big deal. They were all still here this morning. Kind of.
Kind of?
I think someone played a stupid joke, and my spare black leggings were covered in some disgusting swamp slime when I found them in the bag this morning. If you're going to take my clothes and mess them up, then just keep them. I don't want them back. You know what I mean?
I absolutely do.
They're mine, but I left them here last night. Now they're covered in slime, and I don't want to go near them. Is that one of your clues? It's nice. You can put it away now. I have no idea what that is. This was taken near the forest at the back of the swamp, correct?
Yes, I think so.
Mm-hmm. The water is really clear back there. The legs of this thing are reflected in the bottom half of the photo. It's a nice shot, actually.
A reflection? Oh, yeah, of course. A reflection in the water.
Where are you keeping all this stuff? In your pockets? Is that one of your clues? It's nice. You can put it away now. I have no idea what that is. Where are you keeping all this stuff? In your pockets? Is that one of your clues? I have no idea what that...
It's a humble gift shop wagon. Let's take a look. Bonky dolls, bonky toys, bonky postcards. Yeah, this stuff isn't half bad. Bonky dolls, bonky toys, bonky postcards. Yeah, this stuff isn't half bad. Bonky dolls, well, I wouldn't wear it. Maybe to sleep in, you know, not outside. What on earth? This thing doesn't seem to belong here at all. It's some kind of roughly made costume head, I think. And there's a strange piece of red fabric stuffed inside. 2 clues for the price of 1, I guess. Brightly colored bonky baseball caps. Is there something behind them? A Boggy's Bog mug. Maybe I'll get one and surprise Officer James for Christmas. What on earth? It's 2 clues for... Brightly, is there? Bonky doll. Bonky doll. It's a map of the swamp. Mine seems a little older than this one, though. It's a photo of the swamp entrance. Or it could be a painting. There's really no way to tell, you know? It's a framed drawing of Boggy. What a shame, it's not even signed.
Hey. These hats look pretty stupid. Luckily, kids seem to like stupid stuff.
You sell a lot of them?
Yeah, they're pretty popular. Where are you keeping all this stuff? In your pockets? That is not something from my gift shop. I've never seen it before.
I don't know why she still works here, to be honest. One murder is one murder too many.
Yeah, I have a pretty good view of him from here. Anyone supporting animal rights is okay in my book. His protests used to have a bit more energy, though. He spends more time inside his tent these days.
What's he doing in there?
I'm happy to say, I don't know.
There might be something I can ask Echo about. Echo spends less time holding the protest sign and more time in his tent. I wonder if Echo can tell me what he's been doing that's more important than his protest.
I really don't know what to tell you. Is that one of the other suspects? They're more suspicious than me. Let's agree on that. Is that your new friend? Sweet. I think the cartoon character is kind of dumb.
What about the real creature?
I've never met him.
Me neither.
He made sure I always got paid, so I can't say anything bad about him.
You can if you like. He won't hear you.
You should have more respect for the dead.
I know. Not suspicious. Not suspicious. Suspicious!
Ah.
Predictably, a trash can. And I just can't resist taking a look inside. The glamorous life of a detective. My favorite part of the job. Maybe there's something underneath the trash in here. Hello, what's this? Just a piece of paper? Or something more sinister? Are we really talking about a swamp creature here? The costume design I found in the trash can explains what Burrow's black and white photo is showing me. My detective's intuition is kicking in. That black and white photograph. I'm not sure I'm looking at the real Boggy here, and I think these designs I found in the trash can might be the answer. I'll ask around, see if anybody knows anything about this. Oh, and I should start looking for the costume itself. If I can find that, there'll be some pretty impressive evidence.
I have something for you.
Another gift already. Where are you keeping all this stuff? You don't even have pockets in that dress.
I don't need a pocket to carry a key.
What key?
I don't know. You could try it on any door you like. Although, I recommend you try it on that office door.
Remington's office?
Mm-hmm.
Grass, trees, nothing unusual. A shipwreck? In a swamp? Does that make any sense? And why is there a cafe growing out of the side? The tables and chairs are made out of parts of a ship, I think. Water, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink. Seriously, I'm not drinking that. Grass, tree... A shipwreck? And why...
Ah, yes. I heard they were sending somebody over. So you're Detective Grimoire.
At your service. Well, kind of. You're a suspect, too.
Of course, of course. Feel free to be as suspicious as you like. I won't be offended. You can call me Harper.
How did you know my name?
I can only assume I must have read about one of your many exploits. But I think you'll find this swamp to be your greatest challenge.
I love challenge. I eat challenge for breakfast.
The swamp itself has a history that has captured many imaginations, for better or for worse. My advice to you, look to the past. It could be the way forward.
So, you sit in this boat all day and sell food to people? To tourists, I guess?
Not just the tourists, but the employees too. To anyone who is hungry or thirsty. I know everyone's favorite foods.
What are they? Oh, and is this a real shipwreck? How did it get here?
I can't expose all the secrets of the swamp. I don't want to spoil your fun.
Is there a secret to this shipwreck?
No.
You just spoiled my fun.
You'll find out there are some secrets worth keeping when you've worked here as long as I have.
Well, how long is that?
I've worked in the swamp almost as long as Mr. Remington. We knew each other for a long time.
Really? So what was his favorite food?
Mr. Remington enjoyed a specialty only I can make. The bog dog. He ate one nearly every day. A real creature of habit, that one.
It looks like a hot dog.
It's similar, but I'm afraid I have to disappoint you. I'm not serving them today.
Why not?
Yesterday I found this strange green powder in my entire supply.
Guess I'm out of luck today. Well, thanks for the information. You've been a real big help.
Wait, take this with you. If you get thirsty, it's the most popular drink in Boggy's Bog. Swamp juice. Try it.
It looks like... Well, I'll try some later on.
You're in luck. That's my last bottle. A lot of swamp juice has been disappearing from my stock recently. I can only assume I must have been selling them all.
Did something strange happen at the cafe yesterday? Richard Remington left the cafe feeling ill after Hopper sold him a bog dog. Hopper is basically in charge of all the food and drink here in Boggy's Bog. I'll have to ask him about this.
You're going to ask me about what I was doing last night.
I was going to? Were you going to tell me anything?
I was working here at the cafe in the evening. I had a couple customers. Eventually they all left and I locked up and went home.
Do you lock away everything at night?
Not everything, just the storeroom over there.
You mean that little door on the side of the ship? Is there anything else to lock?
I leave the chairs, tables and trash can where they are. Lifting things like that is not a job for an old man.
Don't you have anyone to help you?
Mr. Remington liked to keep us down to his skeleton staff. There simply aren't many people who would choose to work in a place like this.
A skeleton staff? Well, that's convenient for him since...
Don't make that joke. I won't laugh. Someone made a costume to look like the creature. They must have known it would get a reaction for sure. But I wonder if they planned things to go this far.
When you're finished theorizing, I was going to show you these sketches I found in the trash can right next to your cafe.
It does seem like someone was designing a costume. A disguise, perhaps.
I don't know.
Try to think why somebody would do such a thing.
I don't know.
What could they achieve with it?
I don't know.
Not yet. He's dead, but he always knew what he was getting involved with. I don't know everything, I'm afraid. I can't help you with that one. Sorry. Why don't you show that to someone else? I don't know everything, I'm afraid. I can't help you with that one. Why don't you... I don't know everything, I'm afraid. That's the same fabric from Mr. Remington's curtains. I can't help you with that one. Sorry. Why don't you show that to someone else? I don't know everything, I'm afraid. It's the most popular drink that I sell. In fact, a lot of it has disappeared from my stocks recently. It was Mr. Remington's favorite food. That strange green powder isn't supposed to be there. I can't help you with that one. Sorry. Why don't you show that to someone else? He was a friend for many years. If you have any questions about him or his belongings, I may be able to help you. You're prime suspect, am I correct?
Well, technically, but I'm not even sure he's real.
Don't worry about that. Real or not, the creature's the most important part of this mystery.
Which one? The cartoon character or the real creature?
Exactly. I don't know what to say. I don't know very much about them. You have a lot of suspects on that list. I don't know what to say. It's here a lot. I think he's been putting less effort into his protests recently, which is a shame. I think it's an admirable cause.
Do you talk to him much?
Not really. Sometimes he likes to talk, just casual conversation. He asks how business is going and what everyone likes to eat, nothing of real importance. I don't know very much about them.
I was told Remington left the cafe looking ill last night. Since you seem to be completely in charge of all the food and drink around here, I'm afraid this is something I can't ignore.
He was an old man. His health wasn't perfect. But I'm not arguing with you. I think it is suspicious. What do you think caused it?
What do I think caused it? A bog dog he ate at the cafe gave him food poisoning.
I keep all my food locked in the storeroom when I'm not here. You think he was poisoned?
I think he was poisoned.
Poisoned by me?
The storeroom was broken into with a lockpick.
A lockpick? I've never encountered a problem like this before. But since last night, am I in a position to doubt a claim like that?
Somebody knew that Remington would eat a bog dog. He ate one every day, right?
Do you suppose this explains the missing bottles of swamp juice as well?
Someone please tell me why there's a house here. Well, the lights are on. Maybe somebody's home. Someone please... Well... The latch is broken on this door. Seems I can fix it with those 3 cogs if I just put them in the right place. Once they're on the right pins, I can move the handle at the bottom to try and open the door. Tree comes straight through the middle of the house. It even has little drawers carved into it. Okay, even I'll admit, that's pretty cool. Check out that sunlight beaming through the window. It's so bright I should have brought my sunglasses. The tree comes straight even... Okay, even There's a whole load of needles and wool on that shelf. Or should I say yarn? I just don't know anymore.
You just walked straight into my house, did you?
Not exactly. I had to climb up here first.
Normally, I have methods for dealing with unwanted attention, but I can make exceptions for harmless idiots.
Do you get any attention up here?
Most of the time, people like to leave me alone. But I don't think you're going to, are you?
No. I could make an excuse and say it's my job to ask you about last night, but to be honest, I climbed all the way up here and I just like being indoors.
Well, if you insist on staying, I'll tell you. I'm Lady Weybridge, and I think you might be climbing up the wrong trees.
I'm Detective Grimoire, and I think I might agree with you. What do you do here? Did you work for Richard Remington?
I was living here before that man was even born, and I have absolutely nothing to do with him, or his little tourist attraction.
You're exaggerating. How long have you been here? Just in this treehouse? What do you do up here?
I've been here longer than anyone. Even longer than, well, anyone.
I like numbers.
60 years, something like that.
What have you been doing for that time? If you don't mind me asking.
I have many reasons to be here. But I won't bore you with all the details of my life.
I'm sure there's one detail worth writing down.
I like to study the plants and flowers in this area. I've learned many things from them.
What about this little chemistry set you've got on your table?
I wouldn't call it a chemistry set. But if you bring me an object that has liquid on it, or inside it, I'll tell you what that liquid consists of.
Wow, how do you do that?
Chemistry. Your job is to ask me about what happened last night.
Do you even know what happened last night?
I know more than you might imagine.
Oh, that sounds useful. Can you tell me? What were you doing?
I was here, in my house, by myself.
What else?
That's it.
Thanks. Just give me a minute to write all this down. I found these designs for a boggy costume. Do you know anything about them?
You're asking me because you can tell I'm experienced with needlecraft and sew my own clothes?
No, but that's a good reason. Let's go with that.
Well, these designs look like they should have stayed where they were.
In the trash?
On paper.
Oh, how come?
Whoever drew them didn't really know what they were doing.
You would have done it differently?
Of course. I am a seamstress. There was a time when I considered sewing my craft, my livelihood.
Really?
When Richard Remington arrived in the swamp years ago, I offered him some of my handmade fabric as a peace offering. I don't think he cared much for it. Most likely he threw it away. A pointless gift from some strange woman. If you bring me something with liquid on it, I might be able to help you.
Let's see. First thing we do is put the sample of liquid into the cauldron, then tap the faucet. And now, we just have to match the color of that liquid with these ingredients. That's not right. Come on, Grimoire, you're good at That's not right. Come on, Grimoire. That's not right. Come on, Grimoire. Got it! Now I know what that liquid consists of. I'll write it down in my notes.
You can put that away. I can't help you with it. No, thank you. If you bring me something with liquid on it, I might be able to help you. You can put that away. I can't help you with it.
This is a 60-year-old journal. It was on display in a museum.
I know what it is.
I thought you might. I'm supposed to look to the past, right? Lady Weybridge was living in the swamp when the swamp creature was discovered by the explorers 60 years ago. Lady Weybridge. She was living here when Boggy was first discovered by the explorer.
No, thank you. If you bring me something with liquid on it, I might be able to help you. There's samples of flowers that grow in this area. 2 of them you don't see very much anymore. And 1 of them only grows around the museum. You can put that away. I can't help you with it.
Let's see. First, then tap. And now, we... Got it! Now I know. I'll write it down in my notes. That looks pretty similar to last time. Let's see. First thing we do is then tap the faucet. And now we...
Doesn't it just look like it's got the same color liquid now?
Got it! Now I know what that liquid consists of. I'll write it down in my notes. Is that the same as last time?
Yes, it is.
This was the exact same liquid. Let's see. First thing we do is put the... and tap the faucet.
So they're all basically swaps.
And now we... Got it! Now I know what that liquid consists of. I'll write it down in my notes. What's going on here? That was definitely the same as the other tests.
No, thank you. If you bring me something with liquid on it, I might be able to help you. You can put that away. I can't help you with it. I have nothing good to say about that man, so I won't say anything at all. Show it to someone who doesn't live in a tree. I'm not even sure who that is. A fascinating old woman who lives in a wonderful treehouse. I heard she wasn't so keen on visitors, though.
The treehouse is pretty wonderful, though.
You should ask someone else. Show it to someone who doesn't live in a tree. I'm not even sure who that is. You should ask someone else. Show it to someone who doesn't live in a tree.
I've been looking into the history of this place.
Oh, really? Did you find anything?
Yeah. You.
You mother. You found me today when you barged into my house. Remember?
You were already living in the swamp when the explorer came here 60 years ago.
The explorer? That man they talk about in the museum?
The one who originally discovered Boggy. You know who I'm talking about. His sketches and notes are the only real evidence we have for this creature.
You already have his journal. You learned to read, I assume. What else do you need?
There's a page missing from the journal. I think you know where it is.
Why on earth would I know something like that?
Because you were the only person here when the explorer visited the swamp. I have a suspicion that the swamp creature wasn't the only thing he discovered.
You're suggesting he gave me a page from the back of his journal? Or what, that I stole it?
I really have no idea. If I could see it, I might be able to make up my mind.
It doesn't belong in a museum. It belongs here, with me. You understand?
What if I promise I'll return it after I finish clearing up this mess?
Then I'll show it to you.
Is this you? He drew you into his journal? It's beautiful.
60 years ago, yes. He left the page with me. We agreed the rest of the world would manage without it.
I think there's something on the back. What's this? Footprints.
great detective returns. Did you run out of ideas? Need a little push in the right direction?
No need to push me, but the direction would help.
Like it or not, I'm here to help you.
I get it. You give me a map, then you magically disappear and hide behind a tree for an hour. You want me to be impressed?
Did you talk to all the suspects yet?
I'm working on it. You can't rush these things, you know.
Have you noticed anything unusual?
I notice that this is going to take longer than I originally planned, and I'm getting the feeling that I wasn't wrong about this tourist attraction.
What do you mean?
I had a hard time believing there could be a place like this here in a dark corner of a swamp. It didn't make sense, and it still doesn't.
Some things don't make sense straight away. You need to look a little closer.
At what? The mud? The water? The trees?
Nope. They've been here for years, and they're not to blame. They belong here.
She's gone again. Hiding in a bush, no doubt. I wonder if she'll ever tell me something I can actually understand. That's the logo for Boggy's, so I hope they don't... Some educational facts about swamps. Did you know swamps are gross? Yes? It's a poster from the old... I'm impressed somewhat, and I'm... It's a journal. I guess it belongs to Echo. Bad news. Remington is dead. I don't know what to do. Was my whole protest in vain? They'll shut this place down, sure, but I'll never know if I got through to him. That's all he's written.
Ah!
What can you tell me about these designs for a costume? A Boggy costume.
It's Boggy! I must admit, I've been a fan of his before I ever came to the swamp.
A fan? So you're interested in cryptozoology?
Oh, no, I meant, well, Boggy has been in all kinds of cartoons and comic strips. He's one of the greatest characters of the last 100 years. I've got some comics in my tent. You really should see.
But he was only discovered 60 years ago.
Oh, that's true. Well, I rounded up.
But what about his costume? Have you seen anyone wearing it?
I can honestly say I've never seen anyone wearing anything like that. And I'm a very observant person.
I heard you've been spending less time protesting recently and more time, in your tent. Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to ask...
I'm touched people have even noticed something like that. I usually get the impression everyone else is doing their best to ignore me.
So, you admit it's true?
You can put your notebook away. There isn't really any reason for it. Nothing worth writing down, at least.
Well, if it's not worth writing down, maybe it's worth hearing.
In that case, you'd forget it.
How do you know? Maybe it would echo in my mind.
Look, if you take a guess and get it right, I promise not to deny it.
Let's work out why Echo was hidden away in his tent. Notebook time. You've been hiding in your tent because the swamp... I heard you've been... and more time, in your tent. Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to ask...
Untouched people have even noticed. I usually...
So,
You... Nothing.
Well, if...
In that...
How do you...
Look, if you...
Let's work out why Echo was hidden away in his tent. Notebook time. You've been in your tent, hiding from Boggy.
Why not?
And more... Well...
In that...
How do you... Let's work out why Echo was... Notebook time. You've been hiding in your tent from the taxman.
I have nothing to say about them. You're asking the wrong person. He seems like a good person. He even sympathizes with my cause.
He agrees with your protest? But he works here, right? And he was friends with Remington.
I think that was the only reason he worked here. Maybe he'll see the light now and leave the swamp behind him. Maybe everyone will. Show it to somebody else. No thanks, my friend. I'm afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else. No thanks, my friend. I'm afraid I have no idea. Show it to somebody else. No thanks, my friend. I'm afraid I have...
Looks like this path leads towards the northwest corner of Boggy's Bog. I can't wait. Even though I have the key, this door has 2 keyholes. So, which key should I use in each one?